The brand new game mode Arena allows players to play Apex Legends in an entirely new way that can be very refreshing and a very satisfying experience. However, it can also be tough for those that are really just starting out in their journey in Apex Legends. Because of this, I thought it would be good to go over 10 Arena tips that I wish I knew before I started playing. After playing a fair amount of time since it was released and even before the launch of Arena during the playtest, here are 10 tips that will make a world of difference in the success of your Arena games. Our first tip has all to do with teamwork in arenas. Arena is much less forgiving than the Battle Royale due to the restrictions Arena does bring. No being bailed out by third parties and no running away from point of interest like in the BR. Teams need to be coordinated, team shooting, and sticking relatively close together. Stride teammates make for some very easy targets for any above average player or team, and they should be able to realize this. If you see an enemy straying off, you and your team need to capitalize on this and eliminate them to make a 2 vs 3 situation. An arena shooter that is more competitive and round-based like this is all about capitalizing on those opportunities and minimizing your mistakes. It only takes 3 rounds to win Arena, and this can go very quickly if you give up a free round or 2 right off the beginning. This brings us to our next tip of which legends to use. Due to the fact that abilities need to be purchased, certain legends have way more power than others, and this really does come down to their passive and somewhat their tactical abilities. Certain legends like Gibraltar with his gun shield is an absolute amazing pickup. Likewise, Lifeline, or even better, Lifeline or Gibraltar with a gold backpack can come in clutch even more to force enemies to push you when they get that knock. Loba, Pathfinder, Bloodhound, and Bangalore are also all great legends with incredible tactical abilities that can be great for positioning, playmaking, and even some overall team utility. Similar to what legend to use, early game weaponry can be incredibly important as your choices are very limited. Great options are the Flatline and the Wingman due to their versatile nature to excel at both close and medium ranges. Similar to this, the G7 is a powerful choice because it can excel at picking enemies and is a really great option in the first few rounds. Finally, one of my favorite personal choices is the Alternator as it is only 400 materials, which will allow for that first round battery pickup, some extra shield cells, or even a grenade, and this is a great way to have a very well-rounded kit for the first couple rounds. While these weapons are great during earlier rounds, one weapon that I am constantly picking up, and this isn't a troll, it is the Mozambique as my secondary. Not only is the Mozambique free, it is absurdly cheap to upgrade. After round 1 or 2, I nearly always upgrade this weapon to a Blue Bolt for a cheap 175 materials, meaning it is cheaper than a base EVA 8 and not even half the price of a Peacekeeper. By doing this, I am allowed to stack up on way more shields, grenades, or even a gold backpack if I am running someone like Lifeline or Gibraltar. Keep in mind the Mozambique's pellet spread was reduced to allow for a little bit more consistency, and on top of this, it now has 6 rounds, meaning it can do up to 270 total damage with 1 magazine if you do hit all your shots. It's absolutely wild, and it's a great secondary option for Arena. It is very cheap, or even free. This brings me to my next tip of how to play Arena based on your team's purchases. If you prefer a slow type of playstyle, you may want to stock up on more shields as trading damage will happen a bit more than a team that pushes aggressively. On top of this, a team playing slow could purchase only a single weapon and then try to make a play for the care package weapons. At the moment, I am finding that players are underutilizing the care package guns, and this is more or less a semi-free resource that players should be using. On the opposite side of things though, if you prefer a more aggressive playstyle, a viable strategy is to purchase more grenades and upgrade your weapons much higher than a long game player. This allows you to be a bit more aggressive, and your overall damage will be increased due to your magazine size being bigger and having better overall attachments. Regardless of how you play though, I absolutely recommend you learn how to play both playstyles. This way you can switch it up from round to round and keep your enemies on their toes. Learning how to play both ways will also let you learn how to counter both of these different types of playstyles, and you definitely want to be able to react to the enemy's playstyles. I just want to take a second and say if you are enjoying this video, please hit that like button, or if you just want to support me. And of course, we do stream on Twitch nearly daily. Head on over there, say hello, and I would love to chat with you about Apex Legends. Again, while playing the way you want to play is important, it is also wise to be reactionary to the enemy's playstyles. If an enemy team is playing a little bit more laid back, playing a little bit more reserved, it might be wise to take a second to analyze the situation and prevent yourself from making an unnecessary push on an enemy that is camping with the G7 on that nasty head glitch. One of the hardest playstyles to counter for a newer player or a less experienced player is an aggressive team pushing them. If this happens, my biggest recommendation is try your best to be a little bit slower and don't be the first one to take damage. Let them push into the open and let them do something reckless while they are lower health. Good players will always capitalize on big damage and make a play. Keep this in mind as taking some huge initial damage can be a terrible mistake for the early games or early rounds for you and your team. Let's now move on to a few overall tips for the game mode. Both the crafting nodes and resource bins are absolutely important and need to be utilized as much as possible. A single crafting node means you can get that extra battery, upgraded weapon, nearly a gold backpack, or just extra grenades. These need to be picked up as much as possible and should be a priority in the early game. There's virtually no reason why you shouldn't be getting at least one of these every round. A slightly more risky play though is those loot pills with extra healing items. The pills on the maps are placed in ways that are really a little bit more difficult to access, and they usually will make you take some damage trying to get them. Ways to get them a little bit more safely and get those pills are to use some movement legends like Loba's Bracelet, Pathfinder's Grapple, or a tactical charge from someone like Gibraltar with his Dome, or Bangalore and her Smoke. Remember that a single loot box has 2 batteries, 1 Phoenix kit, and a med kit. The batteries alone are worth 300 materials, and buying that extra tactical ability is a great trade-off for all these healing items. The next tip has to do with the rings in Arena. It is absolutely vital that players are at a minimum aware of the ring's location at the beginning of games. The ring does move around to different sides of the map each round, and this will affect how your rounds play out. You do not want to rotate to the side of the map where the ring is not moving to, and then not realize it till it is too late. Positioning absolutely matters on the majority of the maps, and this is extremely noticeable on a map like Party Crasher or Artillery, where they have large open areas with little to no cover in the center of these maps. If you are playing with a legend in your squad that benefits from their ultimate ability, but maybe their ultimate ability is a little bit more expensive, something like a Revenant, Crypto, or maybe even a Bloodhound ultimate, a great way to help this team out or teammates out are buying them a couple extra healing items. While you can drop healing items in the buy room, you can simply just drop them after you get out of the starting room. This is pretty situational, but it's still great to keep in mind if you do have a legend like Crypto or Revenant again on your team, where their ultimate might be upwards of 500 or 600 materials. Also keep in mind that you can't get these ultimates every round, so maybe on the rounds that you're buying the ultimate, you make that play for a loot bin or a loot pill on the map. These are some things that you can do and you can strategize as you are going on with your games. And our final tip is going to have to do all with the weapons I deem best in the later rounds, and these are a few weapons I absolutely recommend you give a try. There is no doubt that mid-range picking is the real deal in Arena. This makes certain laser beam weapons a higher priority in my eyes. Weapons like the R301, Volt, Flatline, Spitfire are all incredible mid-range spray weapons that are great even if only upgraded a level or 2. Great weapons to pair up with these, of course, are the R99, the EVA 8, the Wingman, the G7, and the Bocek. Similarly to the spray weapons, the G7, Bocek, and Wingman are incredible for head glitching and poking on enemies. On top of this, they also allow for a little bit better ammo control, as the reserves are plentiful, which means they will last you all game long. And finally, the R99, Peacekeeper, and the EVA are some of the best close-range weapons, just like they are in the Battle Royale. The EVA specifically is just wildly good, as it is half the price of the Peacekeeper and the R99. Here's also one last final bonus tip to really try to help you get that free round win at least once a game. This is simply to ultimate stack a single round. And what I mean by this is to choose your legends that complement the entire team and to stack all of your ultimate abilities so that everyone is using theirs on a single round. Unlike a game like Valorant or CSGO, we aren't really playing 30 to 45 minute games that could have upwards of 20 rounds. We are really just looking for 3 wins and to win by 2. And if you are up 2-0 or even down 0-2, having your entire team buy their ultimate and do some sort of crazy push that the enemy team just won't expect is definitely an option that you can do. I rarely find teams doing this, and I do feel as if it is a strategy worth mentioning. If you can stack an entire team with legends like Bloodhound Bangalore and another teammate like Gibraltar, you could really make a huge push with double ultimates, that Bangalore Smoke, the Bloodhound Scans, and a Gibraltar Dome Shield to protect yourself. Another option, of course, is Bloodhound with an Octane Pad or a Horizon Black Hole. There's a lot of other combos that are definitely viable, but definitely try to be creative and don't be afraid to make a huge play around that the enemy just really won't be able to expect or really be able to handle. I will say there's a lot of other legends in arenas that are kind of a little bit more viable than they were, say, in the Battle Royale. I see legends like maybe Watson or even Rampart being a little bit more viable in this mode rather than they are in the BR, and I do think it's worth giving those legends a try from time to time. So there are 10 tips for Arena to help you out in your games. Let me know in the comments if you have any additional tips. I would love to hear them. Arena is definitely a little bit more on the simpler side compared to some of the other games out there. I do think it's going to get more complex in the near future. I'd love to see them implement maybe some sort of bomb site thing where you do have to plant a bomb or defend a bomb site, and then you lose the circle or the ring. I think this would definitely switch it up. They would probably have to make certain maps for this. Who knows what's going to be coming down the pipeline. I don't advertise it too much, but we do have a TikTok where we've been posting clips. And if you'd like some more content, you can go over there and check that out. I truly appreciate all the support as of late. Until next time, I will see you live in the Twitch streams. Peace out.